Happy Tuesday. Thank you all.
No.
Okay. PD literally was talking till the very last second. Thank you all so much for tuning into the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey and Sean, not Shane, contrary to Craig's tweet. It's as if Sean means nothing to Craig. Yes. And speaking of Craig, he's off from our show today. He's at ASU Hockey Media Day. Yeah. So you can follow Craig on Twitter for all the updates from that. But Petey, it's been a while since it's just been me and you. How are you doing?
It's been since before Australia.
I know, it's crazy. It's been forever.
And then you get back from Australia, and then you took a few shows off, and I was like, I did literally take it personal. So I was mildly concerned, but now we're back together. And not only is this the first show of us back together by ourselves, but the first of many.
The first of many.
The season is upon us, and Craig will leave us for the arena, and you and I will sit here a lot. So if you're new to the show, this is it. This is the post-game show. Well, it's not, because we're usually talking about the game. But we're doing that today. But this is the post-game show, and I'm excited because we've got a lot of new things planned for our post-game show this year. A lot of new elements, a lot of new bits. And we get to root for a team that hopefully wins.
We're not cheering for losses anymore.
I talked to somebody yesterday that works in hockey. Mm-hmm. I will leave them unnamed. And they had the Coyotes that projected at 85 points.
Wow.
But you look at 70 from a year ago to 85.
That's a huge increase.
Huge increase.
Never say never, though.
Never say never. I am excited to see the vibe that this new team brings, and we're going to talk a little bit roster stuff and team stuff later as the show goes on. But this is going to be an exciting hockey season. So I'm pandering. Can I pander?
Sure.
I'm going to pander. If you're here, and we know like there's some regulars here: Chris, Dan, Michael, Karen. Roaring Fork. There's a lot of regular CWPs as always here, because I think he just leaves on the PHNX channel literally around the clock. I do, but I do. Is that fair for CWP?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's just on because he follows literally every sport. My point is, if you're a hockey fan, there isn't another option here. You can't turn on your drive time radio. Guess what? They're not talking about hockey. So if you have and know hockey fans, and Bill knows. Tell other hockey fans that we're here, please.
Yeah.
That's pandering.
It's not pandering.
It's the truth.
It's putting out a request to the people who are here day in and day out. Roaring Fork said we need live replays this year. Roaring Fork, we have something. We have something planned. We have something planned.
Put our creative hat on. I'm trying to avoid those. FCC, is that who does that? I don't know. Somebody rights holders, they don't like it.
Chris said it's Collingwood, I think. Magpies won the Aussie Football League Grand Final. I did see that. It was on in a bar I was at on Friday. You did
a lot of bar hopping this weekend.
I had a busy weekend.
I was painting.
Busy week. Yeah, I know.
I didn't go to the bar.
No,
I don't go to the bar. There's people there.
Anyway, Petey, it's an exciting time because 1 week from today is the opening day / night of the NHL. Contrary to some graphics on Twitter, it is not Coyotes versus Devils.
NHL.com just got lazy. Like we need to put out a phone call. Like, what was that?
That was bizarre.
I wish you could call it lazy, but like Leah pointed out, it was a really
the graphic was amazing.
So they tried really hard to make no sense.
Who was it? Hughes? Was it Hughes?
Hughes and Keller.
Keller.
And the funny thing is people in the comments were saying the day before they used Makar.
Makes no sense.
It makes why would you not use Keller on 9 and Makar
why
on 8?
wouldn't you use players that are playing on that day?
In the 8 days. Because if those teams were actually playing in 8 days, fine.
Yeah. Or if any of them were the number 8.
No. Either of those things would apply. So what we're talking about, if you didn't see it, NHL.com on Twitter and Instagram.
I put it in the Discord.
We did. It put out 8 days away from hockey, and it was a picture with Keller and Hughes. Literally not playing in 8 days.
Nope.
Those two teams are playing.
On the Friday of that week, not the Tuesday.
Just saying.
Anyway.
We
are 1 week away
7 days
from the NHL beginning.
3 games that day. Triple header.
Hell yeah.
Starts with Nashville and Tampa.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Sunbelt game. Right off the
Bedard.
top. And yeah, I mean, you're going to see Bedard on national TV a lot.
You're going to see Bedard a lot. Is that a thing?
Is that a thing?
No, but I mean... Like
Bedard?
Let's face it. Like we get Crosby and Ovechkin for the last 12 years, 15 years. That's what we've been blessed with, and it's always Pittsburgh, Rangers, Boston. I get it. I know the East Coast thing. Understood. Chicago is not going to be a good hockey team. Sorry, Chicago CHGO. It's not a playoff
I don't think
team.
they think that.
They don't think that. So, but we're going to have to watch them play.
But it's just like you had to watch Sid all the time when he was a rookie, and they were terrible his rookie year.
And so that's who they play in opening night. It's Chicago in Pittsburgh.
I've heard it's Sid versus the Kid.
Oh,
yeah.
Buddy, that's good.
I mean,
that's good marketing right there.
Passing of the baton right there.
That gets me juiced. That gets me juiced.
It does. That's good marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, passing. Roaring. They got their 2024 Stanley Cup final graphic. Coyotes versus Devils.
Wow. See, that's the positive vibes that comes.
Hey, you can get Coyotes like
show.
plus 450 to make the playoffs right now on BetMGM. Just saying.
Plus 450.
I think it's something like
Buddy,
that.
I like it.
Actually, I have it up right here. Oh no, I have their point total. Anyway, we've been just off the rails already from the start.
I think that's what we're doing. Isn't that what we're supposed to do here? We're talking about hockey.
It is. But let's talk about this Bedard guy. Who is he? I know we've talked about the Calder before, but I think that now that there's been some preseason games, rookie tournament games under our belts, and again, these don't tell us really the full picture about these players until they're playing regular season games against men. We're going to really see. But there's been a lot of buzz to start off because Logan Cooley had the phenomenal goal that he had in Australia. Connor Bedard has been on every highlight on Twitter over the last week or so. There's a lot of buzz about the Calder this year, and it's not just those two. You have Luke Hughes in New Jersey. You have Devin Levi in Buffalo. Yeah. You have David Jiricek. Like, this is a great Brant Clark. Like, this is a really, really good, exciting rookie class for the NHL. And obviously, we can be honest and say we probably have a little bit of bias toward Logan Cooley.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Because this is a Coyote show, and we actually get to see Logan Cooley play in person and see him at practice.
Nobody east of the Mississippi will see him play all year. Because it's not on
unless
TV.
They're playing their team in the East. Yeah, the one time. The 2 times a year. Excuse me. But I don't know. There is some buzz for Logan Cooley over Connor Bedard potentially for the Calder, and there's a few reasons. You just mentioned it. The Chicago Blackhawks are not going to be good, Petey. And sure, he's on a line with Taylor Hall.
Yeah, and Taylor Radish. I mean, he's going to play on the top line in Chicago, but the Chicago Blackhawks are not going to score a lot of goals. Like, this is not a really good hockey team. His line might be able to help him. Taylor Hall is a player that likes to have the puck. He plays. I don't want to say, he's selfish. He's a selfish player. He wants to have the puck, which is fine because he's a really good, really fast hockey player. But if you want to get Connor Bedard points, you better give him the puck. So that one's interesting to me to see how that line actually pans out. But the team's going to be bad. Yeah. So he's not. We know Calder is going to be about points because even Michelli was higher points per game. Last season, finished 4th in Calder voting. We'll see.
The other thing, and I heard this point made somewhere today, that Connor Bedard's going to be on the top line in Chicago. So he's going to be playing against top lines on every NHL team.
Great point.
Logan Cooley is not going to be on the top line here yet. And so he's going to not be playing against the top lines. That's what Hayton, Schmaltz, and Keller will be doing. I think that's another thing that's going to only help Logan Cooley. And again, like, we're saying this, take it with a grain of salt because Andre Tourigny has been very clear about managing Logan Cooley's expectations, but Logan Cooley has his eyes set on the Calder. He said that directly to Craig in an article a couple weeks ago at gophnx.com. But I don't know, like, there's reasons to believe that
and I think
he can beat.
Here's what I've been saying about what we've watched in training camp so far. And Logan Cooley, I think, got the national media attention, international, with Canada included, international media because of his goal in Australia. Like, that was a high-end skill play, and people are going, maybe it's not just all Bedard. And I joked a little bit about Bedard, but he hasn't done that yet in training camp. He hasn't had that. He had a really nice assist that won the game in overtime to Tennessee, which was a really nice pass, but it was a 2-on-1. It wasn't like it's, through 5 people. It was a direct pass. It was nice. Okay, won the game.
He's definitely skilled.
And then his other assist hit him. It literally, it hit him. It wasn't a pass, but he got 2 points. So my point is, these two players are more closely related in their skill level than I think people credit them for. And you look at Bedard. Bedard last year in juniors got 2.5 points a game. Against.
Is that good?
Hey, face it, some of the defensemen he was playing were 17. And they're kids. Logan Cooley got 1.5 points in college against 23-year-olds. it's going to be a closer race than people.
Yeah.
Let's not anoint and hand Connor Bedard the Calder quite yet.
Well, it's just crazy because on a lot of sportsbook, Bedard's Calder odds are minus, which is almost unheard of for an award future on a sportsbook. I think there's a lot of value in Cooley. Today on Spit and Chicklets, they were doing the preview of the Coyotes. Mike Grinnell, if you listen to Chicklets, you know who that is. He's putting money on Logan Cooley to win Calder. I don't know. There's some buzz, and there was buzz going around, especially in our Discord. This clip got sent like 4 times, but it's exciting because as Coyotes people, fans, it's very rare that you hear positive things in the national media. Normally, it's this team sucks, the arena, the owner, whatever it is. We're starting to get to that point, and obviously the arena is like the massive elephant in the room, so we'll acknowledge it. But what's happening hockey-wise here is exciting, and it's kind of starting to put the hockey world a little bit on notice. And Greg Wyshynski, who works for ESPN, and he's been out to Coyotes games, he's been out to Mullet. He kind of gave his hot take for who he thinks is going to win Calder, and it's not Connor Bedard. So this is what Greg Wyshynski had to say on the Calder this year.
Logan Cooley is going to light it up for the Arizona Coyotes, man. And I ain't just saying that because the goalie scored the other night. I think my prediction for Logan Cooley is this. Connor Bedard is going to win the rookie goal scoring race. Everyone that has seen this kid play knows this kid knows that he's got a shot that is one of the most unstoppable things we've seen come through the NHL in a really long time. He can get it off in a variety of ways. Even if he's not playing with top flight talent on his line, I think that Bedard's going to get his. I think it's going to be 35 plus goals. However, I think Logan Cooley is going to win the rookie points race with what he's going to put up with the Arizona Coyotes, playing with a little bit more better offensive talent, I think, overall than Bedard will. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to see this split like we have before, Arda, with the Calder, with a guy winning the goal race and a guy winning the points race. And then it's let the best narrative win. And I think at the end of the day, the best narrative is a guy excelling with the Arizona Coyotes. And I think Logan Cooley is going to steal the Calder. I really do.
I agree with his take. I really do.
He's right on. Here's what's most interesting to me about that, Leah. And first of all, I agree with his take. For I think that the Arizona Coyotes are a better offensive team than Chicago, top to bottom right now. But it was so refreshing to hear a national media representative talk about the Arizona Coyotes in a positive light, that there was a positive story and it wasn't. We're so used to it here of being the butt of the joke and the negative stories. It was so nice to have something positive. Yes. And it's going to be, the national media is going to gravitate to this. I've talked to some national media over the last few weeks, and they're already well aware of what Logan Cooley is doing. So it's going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be something that we are going to watch very closely on the PHNX_Coyotes show.
That's very true. Do you have any other things you want to talk about with Calder and Cooley and Bedard, or should we move on to some other storylines?
One thing I want to talk about Cooley just really briefly is I think it's going to be interesting to see where he fits in the lineup. And we were talking a lot this morning before this show about the power play units that they played in Australia, and surprisingly absent from PP1 and PP2 was Logan Cooley. He didn't get power play time in Australia, and I think they're easing him in. The dude's going to play on the power play. He's going to play on the power play. So I'm curious to see how that pans out. I'm also curious to see what his line mates look like come opening night in a week. I know that he's played a lot with Zucker and Gunther. I'm curious to see if that's the way it shakes out when they actually open the season in a little more than 10 days.
Yeah, and that's something we will be following along for the next week and a half, and hopefully having some more clarity on lines. And we're going to talk a little bit more about lines in a little bit later in the show. But just keeping with the big picture NHL storylines this season, there's a lot of exciting ones. I think the rookie class in the Calder race is one of the most exciting of the season, and it's really special to be part of it as Arizona Coyotes fans and followers, to be part of something on ice that's positive for once, not the tank. Mm-hmm. There's a few other interesting storylines in the NHL this season, and one is I know you have some strong feelings on, and it's Erik Karlsson is now a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We just did our Metro Division preview episode last week, so you got to kind of say your piece on this. Is Erik Karlsson, does he put it over the top for the Penguins to make the playoffs and kind of have one last run with Sid and Gino and Letang really like at the back nine of their career?
I don't think so. And I talked to somebody else today, a former NHL coach today, and we were talking about the specific player on that specific team. And there are some red flags for a player of his stature joining a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, you look at Letang. Letang is Erik Karlsson and has been for years, and has won Stanley Cup, and he's loved in the locker room, and he's won the Masterton Trophy, and he's extremely an important part of that locker room. And now you're adding Erik Karlsson, who wants those same minutes as Chris Letang, the same offensive minutes, the same power play minutes. There's only one puck. I've said this before. There's one puck. And in San Jose, Erik Karlsson could not play with Brent Burns. Couldn't play together. Brent Burns had to leave to go to Carolina because there wasn't enough room for the two of them to play the same or similar role on that team. I feel the same thing's going to happen in Pittsburgh. It's now you're talking about a very strong room with, hey, Sidney Crosby wants the puck. If Evgeny Malkin wants the puck on the power play, they are publicly saying right now that they're looking at playing both Karlsson and Letang on the power play. So now they're switching their power play to a two-defense system, two defensemen on the power play, just to accommodate Letang and Karlsson. I don't think it's going to work. And I'm surprised that, yes, he won the Norris. I still don't think he should have. I think that I don't think he should have won the Norris. I think that he scored points, but that was it on a really bad team. He's on a better team now. I don't think it gets him over the top to make the playoffs. I think it's going to be one of those things that the national media, international media, and you're going to see it on national TV all the time. Erik Karlsson and the Pittsburgh Penguins. You're going to see it all season long. And I just don't think that's what's going to put him over the top. Gensel's out to start the season. He's one of the guys that makes Crosby better right now. He's out to start the season. I think there are better teams in the Eastern Conference, and I don't think Pittsburgh makes the playoffs.
And very interesting. I'll go to our resident Pittsburgh. I don't know what to call someone who lives in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburghonian? I don't know.
Essie said, I don't. Yinzer, there you go. I don't disagree that the Pens need to figure out how to balance Letang and Karlsson, but I'm hopeful they'll figure it out. I don't think the PP keeps both on it.
Yeah, and I know I know there are Pittsburgh, and Essie is a Pittsburgh native fan. I get it. There's still a lot of good talent on this team. So, but we'll see.
I think they make the playoffs in a wild card situation. I do think that the insurgents, if Jari can stay healthy, I think the insurgents of him in the lineup can push them over the edge. Are they a Stanley Cup contender? I don't necessarily know, but that's my thoughts. I don't have as many strong feelings on Karlsson as you do, but that's my.
I look at players like him, and I know he's so one-dimensional that he racks up points in a lot of games that didn't matter for a team that was really bad. And he was their offense. He made plays, and I'll be just honest as I can. He made plays so he could rack up some points. It wasn't if what was best for the team or the situation was best for the team. And if he gave up, he's minus 26 on the year. Didn't give a shit if he gave up. Sorry, are we supposed to cut down on the swearing? On if the team gave up goals, it didn't matter to him. Got us 3 points. We're not making the playoffs anyway. Pittsburgh's not going to allow that. Pittsburgh needs to win.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the one good thing for Pittsburgh fans is Mike Sullivan's the coach, and I believe in Mike Sullivan. So if anybody can get him to jump on board and play the way the Pittsburgh Penguins want to play, it's Mike Sullivan. And that may be the difference maker, that he gets Erik Karlsson to toe the line and play both sides of the puck. That is the saving grace that may get this team into the playoffs.
Agree.
Pittsburghers.
Sticking in the Metro, there's a lot of storylines in the East, I guess. Alex Ovechkin, again, you talked about the Washington Capitals as a whole last week, but Alex Ovechkin, of course, is chasing Wayne Gretzky's goal-scoring record. He's currently 72 goals behind Wayne Gretzky. Obviously, Ovechkin is not going to score 72 goals this year. Watch him
Cooley will. But
no. And still won't win the Calder somehow. How close do you think Ovi gets to Gretzky by the end of this year? How many goals do you think he gets? And I know we've talked about this before, for a Washington Capitals team that's also kind of aging out and on maybe the other side of the bell curve. Is this all going to be about getting Ovi goals this year?
What do you think?
Yes. Oh, what do I think? Yeah. How many goals?
Yeah.
He's going to get. How many did he get 42. Last season?
42. The year before that, 50.
I think he gets 40 this year. I think he keeps going. And then he'll beat the record next season.
So last year we had this same exact conversation.
You were really low
I said
him.
High 30s.
Yeah.
He finished with 42. I said 38.
Okay, so you were close.
And he got 42 because he 50 the previous year, and I said he's going to slow down. He's going to slow down again. I'm sorry. Yes, he will break the record eventually because he's going to play till he's 50.
He's like Yager.
So he's going to stay there, and he's going to get 72 goals. He's not retiring until he gets 72 goals. Period.
Yeah.
Like they will put him out on a dolly and put him on his spot on the power play.
You know, like when you break your leg and you roll on that cart where you have to like roll with your leg.
He will stand on that spot
on the power play
until he gets 72 goals. He will. I'm concerned again. This is another team similar to Pittsburgh. You're looking at their window is closing because their team is getting much older. Their power play isn't as effective as it was in the past. I think he's going to get over 30 goals just because, again, he's a goal scorer. And when he's on the ice, he's going to get over 30s. But I see him in the 30s again, the mid to high 30s this year, which puts him at a pace of 2 years to get this. No matter what, this is taking him 2 years. He's not getting 72. So he just needs 2 consistent years in the mid 30s.
But I think he easily gets it in the 2 years.
I would be surprised if he doesn't break it by the end of next season. And I know the schedule makers have not made the schedule yet, but please put the Washington Capitals at Mullet Arena in March of next year.
It has to. Please.
Washington Capitals travel to Arizona at the end of March next year. Please do that.
Oh, that would be so electric.
I'm with Brian. 35.
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
Chris, 35 to 37. Look at CWP.
So Charles says 45.
Optimistic Charles, but isn't he kind of the optimistic guy?
Brian says 35 if he stays healthy.
Charles is just optimistic, happy guy.
Chris says 37. Keep letting us know in the chat how many goals you think Ovi's going to get. John, do you have a thought on Ovi goals? How many? What's your number?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything too original. I feel like it's going to be somewhere in that 35 to 45
Just pick one.
41.
41.
Wow,
okay.
I like it. Let's book
top end.
Book it.
Dan says 32. I think we have a good range. I think we're all feeling 32 to 45.
A 30-goal season in the NHL is elite.
Yeah, I mean, he is elite.
I think by the end of the season, they're going to realize that this team is dead and they aren't going to accomplish anything, and they're just going to start feeding.
And that could be too. You could see this be just the hunt for October, the hunt for Ovi. It just keep feeding the puck. Yeah. And we don't care. We're going to lose. We're out of the playoffs. Just feed them. Yeah, I could see that too.
Bensy said even 40. Rody said he's going to be on the ice every time there's an empty net.
Yeah, and
that's a good point too.
He will. He leads the league in empty net goals. Like he's out there all the time. So yeah.
Paul says 32. Karen says 42. I like it. I feel like someone's going to be spot on. Someone take a screenshot of the Tarantula, I mean, 10 if he gets injured, knock on wood, hopefully he doesn't.
Tarantula. Bringing some negative vibes to the chat today.
JJ says 39. Okay, so I feel like we kind of have every number covered in that range.
Yeah, I said I'll go 36 to I get a range. I'll go 36.
Tarantula, I'm taking the over on 10 there. I feel very confident in that. Oh boy. Okay, one other storyline we want to mention, and obviously there's a ton more, and we'll kind of dive into some of these as we continue our division previews, which we have another one this Thursday. We have 2 more next week. So we'll dive deep into each division, but these are like the big overarching ones. And this one is also relevant to us because Phil Kessel has made a stop along to Arizona. And does Phil Kessel's Iron Man streak continue? I mean, it's a week from the season. Does he even have a team right now?
Technically, his Iron Man streak will not end even if he doesn't play.
Because he's not part of
our roster.
That's fair.
So he's not scratched or injured. So that's my understanding. I have to check the rule.
But where does he fit? So what team?
Last I talked to him in the playoffs when Vegas was playing Dallas, and I talked to him, and he said he wants to work. Like he wants to play. He wants to play somewhere, and he really was confident that he could find a contract over the summer. That hasn't happened yet. It's getting harder for him because he is such a one-dimensional player at this point in his career. He can still score, he can still pass, and he's still dangerous on the power play. So I keep thinking someone is going to find room for him that's struggling out of the gate to score goals that may take a look at him. The problem is teams now have 22 and 23 and 24-year-olds that they want to get into their lineup and part of their development plan. So you're going to see more of those younger guys getting an opportunity to play than a guy like Phil Kessel. So I think it's something we need to keep an eye on. And the same thing with Patrick Kane. And I know the Buffalo native, Buffalo is a guy.
Send it to the Sabres.
He is one of the top Americans of all time. He's just not there right now, and he's injured right now. He's going to start the season on the IR. Even if he were to get signed, I see 2 teams that fit for Patrick Kane. And first I mentioned one is the Buffalo Sabres. I think that's a natural PR move. I think that you've got enough young, fast, talented hockey. The Buffalo Sabres are as close to making the playoffs as any team in the NHL. Put Patrick Kane on there, you might be he might fit. The other team is Columbus. I see Columbus doing, because who knows what the hell Columbus is doing, because they don't know what they're doing. I could see them going for a Patrick Kane to throw into their lineup because it doesn't fit.
Imagine Patrick Kane in a Blue Jackets jersey. That is so
That's
weird.
the only other team I could say. I don't see. Like,
what about, where does Kessel fit?
I don't know. That's the problem. Like
Yeah.
you look at the teams that are winning
Back
right
to
now
Toronto.
are teams that are extremely fast. Everybody plays fast.
Yeah.
And it's not really the strength of his game right now. So I don't know where he fits. And if he gets back in the lineup somewhere, Calgary, put him up in Canada. Could he go to Calgary? Phil Kessel to Calgary, is that fit? I don't know.
Again, let us know in the chat where you think these two, where Kessel and Kane will end up. Yeah, the Kessel one's tough. Patrick Kane, I definitely feel like someone can.
Yeah.
There's a place for him somewhere.
Patrick Kane didn't. I said it before he went to the New York Rangers. He's going to ruin the Rangers, and he did. And so I'll pat myself on the back in revisionist history. I don't. Patrick Kane, his days are past him. And you have to. We talk about fit in the National Hockey League so often on how they need to fit, not only in the lineup, but in the locker room. It's so very important. A disruptive locker room is really, really hard to have success. It's incredibly hard to have success if you have a disruptive room. And I thought Patrick Kane took too many touches away from players like the Breadman and Zibanejad and Kreider. So I think that really hurt their room. And that's why I think he could make it in Buffalo with all the young guys. And again, and Columbus just is a disarray mess. So throw him in that room too. And Chris, by the way, Chris in the chat, just that she's getting educated in hockey. Just wait, because we're going to try to teach people hockey. Every day we come on the air, I'm going to make it a mission to teach people about the game. But Chris has probably got a little anxiety buzzing today.
Why?
Because the D-backs are playing.
Yeah. Woo. Woo.
So she should probably do something to limit her stress.
Yes.
You know what I recommend?
What do you recommend?
I recommend a little wink.
Ooh.
A little wink of THC and CBD goes a long way. And I want to preface this by, I know people are upset about THC and CBD. I'm advocating this for myself. If you have questions, please ask your doctor and say, maybe this is right for you, because it's helping my stress. And that's a legit true story.
Yeah.
I have wink and I'm on board. I have a hard time bringing myself down to where I can sleep and relax and be a part of society later in the day. So I have been a supporter of Wink, W-Y-N-K. It's just a wink of THC and CBD. I am a sincere user. I'm 55. I'm not advocating drug use and abuse. I'm just saying that Wink gives me the same social pleasure as a lot of people that have a beer or a glass of wine. I like to have myself.
That's what's great about it, because it's social, because it's a seltzer, so you can just be drinking it while everyone else is drinking.
That's exactly
beer,
what
and
I do,
you
Leah.
can feel like
I put it in a clinky glass with ice, and it's like, I swear this is true, and it does really help me with my stress. So it's available in 2.5 or 5 milligram cans. People at the dispensaries will help you. If you don't know how to do it, they will help you. What's best for me? They'll tell you what path to get on to get started. And if you have anxiety, they can help guide you in the right direction. You can find Wink, W-Y-N-K, right here in Arizona. Look for Wink at all Sunday Goods dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica dispensary in Tucson. They're now available in 12 states nationwide and even recently launched online ordering and home delivery to about a dozen other states. To find the fastest way to get your hands on one, go to drinkwink.com.
Well, you mentioned the playoffs. You mentioned the MLB. Yeah. And the D-backs play a playoff game today. First time in 6 years. Sean is hype behind the Mac right now. Big game. D-backs Brewers. You know where to find the pregame, the postgame show. It's right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel for that. PHNX D-backs. Follow them on Twitter at PHNX_D-backs. We are on the wagon, which, by the way, if you have not gotten your wagon shirt yet, money. This the wagon shirt.
Do you have yours on? Oh,
no. It's because it looks like the Serpientes jersey. A bunch of people have them on here in the office. Mine is on the way. I didn't get it in time for the first game, but mine's on the way. But yeah, we're on the wagon for D-backs, so you know plus the vibes.
150 to win.
I mean, plus money. Get it. Get your bets in right now over at BetMGM. Brandon Pfaadt is the starting pitcher.
Brandon Pfaadt. Yep.
It's exciting. So. Again,
they're the underdogs by a run and a half. Underdogs. If you take the money line, they're plus 150. I don't hate that.
I don't hate it either.
I do like the under on this one though. Do you like the under, DP? I don't know if either team can score a lot of runs.
Yeah, the D-backs offense has been kind of quiet going into this, and the only reason that the Brewers are in the playoffs is because of their their pitching. They have one of the worst offenses in baseball.
Yeah.
So I do like.
So I like the under, and I don't mind the Diamondbacks in this one. Diamondbacks are throwing out 3 good pitchers. I know it's a hockey show, but jump on it right now. I'm going to take the plus 150 money line. I just have a feeling about game 1. The Brewer team's going to come in confident at home. We got this. The Diamondbacks have struggled and limped their way into the playoffs. I just think that the momentum is going to switch, and I think the Diamondbacks get a win in game 1 at plus 150.
So normally I go to Sean for the BetMGM parlay pick, but I have one because
you do
because BetMGM sent me this push alert and I was all over it. So this is the parlay. Okay. So, and this is a boost that BetMGM did. Okay. So they said we're boosting Corbin Carroll to record a hit and the Diamondbacks to win plus 290.
Love it.
That's my
Carroll's
bet.
Getting on base. If they win, Corbin Carroll's getting.
That's my BetMGM parlay pick. Get on it right now.
Because if the Diamondbacks are to win, Corbin Carroll is getting a hit.
One would have to assume.
Yes.
So if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, this is the time. This is the golden era of sports. MLB playoffs, NBA, NHL, NFL, like it's all happening right now. Sign up for BetMGM. Use the bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile applications of at least $10, and you'll receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. So you do have to deposit 10 and bet the 10, but that's all you have to deposit. After that, you just get your bonus bets, and then you can just go from there. You can check out the show notes for full details, and now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
All right, we've talked a lot about NHL storylines. A lot of them have related to the Coyotes, but let's talk specifically about the Coyotes. And yesterday, we talked about training camp, Roadrunners training camp, and we kind of touched on the roster battles or lack of roster battles. However, although there's not a ton this year, there are still some. We just said it. We're kind of unclear on what this opening night lineup's going to look like. Even the second night lineup, because who knows who they go on that first road trip with. They open the season, with 4 games on the road. So the battles, quote unquote, have to do with the Coyotes' fourth line and with those extra defensemen. So, PD, I don't know if you want to start with the fourth line, but I'm gonna throw it to you, the NHL coach, for your thoughts on this line battle.
Okay,
on the fourth
so
line.
I see this as 5 guys fighting for 3 spots right now that are currently here. It's O'Brien, Boyd, Kerfoot, McBain, and Carcone. They're going to have to find 3 players out of these 5. When we talk about the Coyotes lineup, and I know Dylan Guenther's probably listening, I like Dylan Guenther. He's a part of their future. I think he is a high skill player. He got power play time in Australia. I'm not sure if he's the right guy to put on the wing with Logan Cooley, and we're going to see that as the week progresses. I still like Alex Kerfoot there. I think Kerfoot brings a little bit more speed, some experience to that line. So I would like to think Kerfoot, of those 5, Kerfoot's playing. Kerfoot, he kills penalties.
I agree.
Kerfoot's too valuable. Of the 5 we mentioned, Kerfoot's playing. He's going to play every night. He's going to fill different roles. He can play up and down the lineup. He can kill penalties. He can defend, but he's also fast enough to be a part of this offense. Kerfoot's playing. So of the 5, Kerfoot's in. I also think McBain's in. McBain, you get up the middle of the ice. Again, he's a valuable piece to this team because of his size. He's able to fight. He's a hard-hitting guy that gets to the net hard. So I think Kerfoot and McBain are playing. So now you've got 3 players in Boyd, Carcone, and O'Brien that need to fill out that last everyday player. And I think you're going to see these 3 players rotating in and out of the lineup. I don't think to start the season that they're going to send either one of them down. I think you'll see them get on a plane to go to the East Coast with 14 forwards. That's my prediction today.
Okay.
That they take all of those guys along with, and then they will play them when it is appropriate to play them. When you're playing a heavy team like the Los Angeles Kings, I would anticipate that you would see O'Brien in the lineup. When you're playing against the Edmonton Oilers, I would anticipate with that speed, maybe that's Carcone gets into the lineup with a little more speed. So I think you're going to see more situational people and those guys rotating in and out of the lineup. The only way that changes is if Dylan Guenther starts the season in the American League. And I know people freaking out over that because they freaked out when Josh Doan went down. I can't imagine what they're going to do when Dylan Guenther potentially gets sent down. I still think there is room for him to grow and develop and get stronger. And I'd love to see him on a line with Josh Doan down in Tucson just to start to get his legs underneath him in the pro game. He played 33 games last year. He struggled 5-on-5, really good power play player. So I wouldn't mind that. And then you put Kerfoot up, and now you're just rotating in Boyd, Carcone, and O'Brien. That's what makes sense to me. That's if I'm sitting on the coach's room moving the magnets around, that's the pitch I'm making this morning. And I've been in those rooms, and everybody gets a vote, but the head coach has 4. So it really doesn't matter what I think. And I was told that often that it didn't matter what I thought. But if I'm in the room, that's what I'm pitching.
It matters what you think right now to me.
I can I tell one story?
Yes.
We were in St. Louis. And we were going through the lineup. We do this. This is an exercise that we actually go through. What do you think of the lineup? And Rick Tocchet would go, hey, what do you think of the lineup tonight? Anybody want to fight for anybody? Because he'd put his roster up and goes, anybody want to fight for anybody? And I said a particular player should go in on defense. And it was actually Kevin Connaughton. At the time, he was the extra, and he'd been working really hard in practice. And Rick Tocchet said, well, why? And this isn't all I said, but I said, and he's a really good guy.
Oh, God. I'm sure that went over well.
And he's like, he's a good guy. So we should put, he's a good guy. And so Rick Tocchet, for the remainder of the season, anytime I said anything, Petey, he's a good guy. So I got back in the afternoon for Connaughton didn't go on the lineup that night, by the way. And he on a piece of paper at my desk in the St. Louis coach's room, he wrote on it, he's a nice guy in quotes. And he taped it to my desk. And that was stuck with me for the next year. Oh, but he's a nice guy. And so I took heat for that. So anyway, this is actual conversations that coaches go through, but it will all be up to the head coach. So Guenther may stay for now, looking for that chemistry with Cooley. But I think they won't keep 14 forwards for the entire season.
Okay, a couple things so Brian said, can Guenther still progress even though he may be a healthy scratch a couple times a week? I don't think they would healthy scratch him a couple times a week.
He's in the lineup if he's there.
He's in the lineup or he's going to yes. I think that they're aware of his development and they're not going to, not have him develop. So I think we can say that. I definitely think I kind of agree with you on the Guenther thing, but he's there opening night. We saw him get reps on PP1 in Australia. We saw him on the second line. They're giving him every opportunity.
If he's there, he's playing.
Yeah. It's interesting because, and I know there's a lot of anti-Liam O'Brien.
Yeah, I know Kenny just said that too.
Chatter. And I can see the argument. He does provide, that kind of fourth line toughness, somebody that you can put out to drop the gloves. I mean, Jack McBain can do that too. The Coyotes have that toughness in players other than just O'Brien. O'Brien and Boyd, that one's hard. It's crazy how Boyd went from being top line center a couple years ago to now. He was top line center on a not great Coyotes team then. No offense, Travis Boyd. Did you know he's from Minnesota? I can't see O'Brien and Boyd going to Tucson. I just don't see it.
No.
Carcone is interesting to me because he's been that guy in Tucson who's kind of, he led the team in points. He was by far their best offensive player in Tucson last year. He's always been this guy that we kind of thought, okay, he's probably the next man up. So he signs his contract and it's a one-way, which was a little bit interesting.
Surprising, yeah.
So now he's up with the big club. He's on the trip to Australia. But now you're looking at this list of guys and you're thinking there's not room for all these guys. The one thing about Carcone is he can sit. They're not thinking about, Carcone's development. He's past that point of his career. So he does have that option to stay. And like you mentioned, I think it was a good point. You look at who you're playing and you make selections on who's playing based on what the matchups are.
And I think one of the other things, too, that you have to keep in mind is if you want to send one of these forwards down to Tucson, Carcone's got to clear waivers. He's not clearing waivers. The Carcone is going to get picked up by a team. He led the American League in scoring last year for a reason. He is going to fit on somebody, even if it's a fourth line for some team is going to grab him and you lose him for free. So he's not going to get sent down. Dylan Guenther can get sent down. He's waiver exempt and he can get sent down. He's the only one of those players that can go through without getting claimed on waivers. So that leaves you with Boyd and O'Brien. My biggest problem with O'Brien, and I have to admit, I did say this to his face. And he did not punch me.
On breakup day last year.
I said this to his face.
Yeah.
I said he takes too many penalties. I said you walk that fine line. It's finding that balance between being physical and protecting your teammates and sitting in the penalty box. He ended up with 114 penalty minutes in 56 games last year. Second was Josh Brown with 87 in 68 games. So O'Brien spent way too much time. He cost this team so many goals while they were shorthanded while he was sitting in the penalty box. He has to fix that or he can't play. If he doesn't get better at taking penalties, he has to come out of the lineup because you can't afford to be sitting in the penalty box. You want his physical toughness. You want his ability to hit and his ability to protect players like Cooley and Gunther, but he can't sit in the penalty box. So that's the fine line with Boyd. And somebody said it in the chat just a little bit ago. Brian said it. Boyd looks slow. And that's a concern for a team that is trying to play an up-tempo, speed, high-pressure, feet-moving game. Boyd, to me, and he is from Minnesota, and I really like the player and the person. I just don't know if he might be the odd man out. I just don't know if there's a trade market for Travis Boyd.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
So is Liam O'Brien.
There you go. See? There you go. He's a nice guy.
Okay, let's talk about the defenseman. This is the only other one where there's kind of a question mark about what's going to happen here. You have Mosier and Dumba. You have Durzi and Valimaki. Those four are very clear. Then you have Stetcher and Brown, who are a little bit more experienced, a little bit older. Not old, but older. You have Travis Dermott coming in, coming off of, a ton of injury issues, kind of trying to get a resurgence in his career on the one end of the spectrum. And then on the other hand, you have Victor Soderstrom, a high Coyotes draft pick, who, although defenseman develops slower, hasn't really had that explosive moment in the NHL, like someone like JJ Mosier, for example, who definitely stepped up when his time came. We haven't really seen that from Victor Soderstrom yet. Victor Soderstrom, to me, is on the same wavelength of a Dylan Gunther, where he gains nothing from being a healthy scratch. We've talked a lot about that over the last few weeks. How do you see things playing out with the defenseman here? And saying this, knowing that Andre Tourigny historically has been a fan of 11-7, although we just talked about 14 forwards. So Who knows what's going to happen with that this year?
This is hard because they can only take 23 players on the plane when they head out east. That's the league rules. You have 23 players on your roster and you can dress 20. So if you have 14 forwards, you can't carry 8 defensemen. You can only have 7 because that puts you at 21 with 2 goalies for 23. I think Stetcher and Brown are in.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be your third pair to start the season. Similar to what we said about Dylan Gunther. That's where I feel about Soderstrom. He cannot be your 7th defenseman because he's 22 years old. He's still 22.
He's so young.
He's 22. And I know we were hard on him often. I'm particularly hard on him in that I don't think he's been able to make that leap to the NHL yet. He's 22. He's a player at 22 that can't sit out every other night, that he can't sit out 2 out of 4. He's got to play every night. So if he's going to play every night, to me, that's down in Tucson for him. And he needs to carry that team. He needs to be what we saw Kyle Capobianco do 3 years ago. He needs to be the offensive guy that drives the puck up the ice. He needs to shine down there, and he hasn't yet. You look at the two, Stetcher and Brown are both 29 years old. They're veterans. Brown is a great defender. Stetcher's got a really good stick for a smaller guy that can dig in the corners. I like them as a tandem.
Brown also adds toughness to the back end. We saw him literally drop the gloves preseason game 1 in Australia.
So he has, and I think that you're going to need that element to protect the young kids. And so that brings up the big question mark. And the big question mark is Travis Dermott. Travis Dermott was drafted in the 2nd round by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And when he played his first few seasons in Toronto, he's not a high point guy, 13, 17, and 11 points. He's not going to add a lot of points, but they need him to defend. And I like the looks of him in the one preseason game that he played in Australia. I liked him. If you're going to have a 7th defenseman, I'd rather it be 26-year-old Travis Dermott than 22-year-old
because
Victor
he
Soderstrom.
can sit and it's okay.
And the other thing that Travis Dermott do is he can fit different roles. He can be up and down the lineup. He's a left-handed shot. And right now, this team needs another left-handed shot.
Yeah, so they don't play 6 right defensemen.
Right. So I think, again, if I'm in the room, my vote is, if we can, I'd like to send Victor Soderstrom back down to Tucson, start the season there, and we'll have Travis Dermott as our number 7 to start the season off. That leaves your 3 bottom, your 5, 6, and 7 defensemen as 2 right-handers and a left-hander. Stetcher is very comfortable playing the left as a right-handed defenseman, but he can play on the right side too. So in theory, you have 2 players that can play on the left and 2 on the right, and Stetcher just happens to be one that can do both.
Yep. So Coach Turney, I know you're watching. Petey's given his input. He's given his input. I know Bear is going to really think long and hard about what you had to say today and really let that factor into his decision.
But the one good thing about this is we have receipts now.
We do.
Because,
we do. So if you're right.
Me to it. Because
you admit when you're wrong.
Yeah. There's so many ways to do this. There are so many times you'd go into a coach's room and putting a lineup up after you've lost 7 in a row that you literally say, let's just throw the ping. We call them ping pong balls, like the lottery balls. You should just throw ping pong balls in. Because it didn't matter. I don't give a shit. Just they pick 12 guys because it doesn't matter. That's not where they are this year. I think they're really important that they find chemistry within these lines and within these D pairs. And I think once you get that camaraderie and that closeness, like I think Barrett Hayton fits with Schmaltz and Keller. I think that's a great line. I think the Bugstead, Krause, Michelli line has chemistry. And once you get that together, they sit by each other in the locker room there. You get that, you start knowing where guys are on the ice when you're not looking. I think it's extremely important that you find that cohesive units and you have continuous lines game after game. The teams that have the most successful lines are the teams that keep those lines together as long as they are productive. And when they're not productive or there's injuries, you need to make those adjustments. So that if I'm picking the rosters today, and we're going to talk about this a week from today when they get down to their final cuts, that's what I'm doing.
Yep. And
the goalies are done.
Yeah. That's like this is the first time since we've been doing the show that there's been no.
The only thing is though, who's starting game 1?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Is it Vejmelka or is it Connor Ingram? And I don't know if we're ready to make that call yet.
I don't know either. And we'll talk about this more over the next week and a half.
Yeah, because we're on every
day, Monday through, well, actually not even Monday through Friday anymore, but 5 days a week at the very least.
Where can we watch these games?
Well, that's actually a great question because we don't actually know yet.
That's a trick question.
It is a trick question. But once that's figured out, I'm sure you'll be able to watch it on Fubo TV because Fubo has 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. You can for sure watch the D-backs on Fubo today. You can for sure watch NFL Sunday, Monday, Thursday on Fubo because Fubo has NFL Network, Red Zone, college football. Like you can just watch sports all day, every day. Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Oh my God. Okay. So watch D-backs today. What time's the game, Sean? 4:08. 4:08. Fubo. Get it. You can also you have 1,000 hours of cloud DVR at no extra charge. There's no contract. Check out Fubo. Like a bunch of us have it here. When I tell you, it is amazing. It's everything all in one place. So watch all your favorite college football and the NFL and the D-backs with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/PHNX to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. I'm sitting here. I'm a little hungry. I didn't get to have my pre-show snack today because we had a meeting before the show. I could really go for some Spaghetti Shack. I know we're getting Spaghetti Shack. I don't know if it's today, but we are getting Spaghetti Shack this week. It's something I look forward to every month because Spaghetti Shack, if you just love pasta, if you love spaghetti and meatballs, if you love chicken parm, I mean, and who doesn't? Spaghetti Shack.
I'm ready for some.
Amazing. Garlic bread. Amazing.
Let's carve it up.
And the trick everyone does here in the office is makes a meatball sub with the garlic bread. That's a pro tip. Check out Spaghetti Shack. They have a new ASU location, which is a great, again, pregame location. If you're not, one day you've gone to Pete's every other pregame and you said, I want to mix it up. Stop by the Spaghetti Shack. It's just a great pasta to go concept, and it was created by ASU alumni, which is awesome. So stop by the Spaghetti Shack at 922 East Apache Boulevard in Tempe. All right, do you want to talk about this right now or at the end?
Sean DePaz, the master behind the Mac, came up with the NHL just tweeted out their new graphic for today.
Again,
with 7
fire
games to go.
graphic.
Really, really good. Was the number 7 there.
Yep.
7 days to opening night, and it has Ilya Sorokin, who is not number 7, and Igor Shesterkin, again, not number 7. They're number 30 and 31 respectively. Fine. And these two teams don't play each other at all.
A week from today, they don't play.
They do not play.
What are we doing?
Not only do they not play each other, they don't play each other.
They don't play each other.
Neither of them play on opening day.
Philadelphia.
What are we doing?
The Islanders played Philly, but they don't play till Friday.
You know who would have made great sense? Victor Hedman, who wears 77 and plays
opening
day with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
What are we doing, NHL?
Can we be in marketing?
NHL, I love you, but what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't wear 7 for the Nashville Predators, but I'm sure someone does. But even if they don't, they put a 7 and they put Roman Josi and Victor Hedman up.
They play each other in 7 days.
7 days. Doesn't that make sense?
Oy vey.
Doesn't it make sense?
It makes too much sense.
Or just Sid and the Kid. They play each other on opening night in 7 days.
87.
Yeah. I don't know. We just stick to the Coyotes.
Oh boy. And I want to acknowledge this because it's come up in the chat a few times. Derek Stepan officially retired from the National Hockey League. So
he's the guy that's going to be involved in hockey. I tell you what, Derek Stepan, we used to joke with him when we'd always say at practice they should have just thrown him a coach's whistle with it because he hung out in the coach's room way too often with ideas and we should do this and we should do that. So we called him coach. And I think he will be involved in hockey. He's a smart guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, I like good guys. But he'll be involved. Whether he goes back, I would assume he's going to go back to the great state of Minnesota. And he will find a home, whether it's with a high school, a college, or with an NHL program. He's going to be involved.
Congrats
to Derek Stepan.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Before we wrap up, we have
this is important.
This is hard hitting journalism right here. And I think one of the biggest storylines on the subject of storylines in this episode, in the NFL this season, whether you like this or not, it doesn't matter because it's all anyone's talking about, is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Okay. Taylor Swift goes to 2 Travis Kelce's games. Highest ratings since the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Highest female viewership in like ever. Say what you want, whether you, and I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, by the way. Like, I will be honest about that.
You're not.
But
I'm not either, but
this is popping off, okay? So,
do you have the numbers on that? Kelce added 300,000 followers.
Oh, and he also, like, his jersey sales.
Number 1 in football right now.
Things are happening, okay?
Swellsy.
Again, I don't care how you feel about it. The facts are the facts.
They are.
The facts are the facts.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
The facts don't care.
And the Kansas City Chiefs are getting more people to watch their team and buy their jerseys and go to their games, and they have more interest than any team in the NFL right now because of Taylor Swift.
Which, real quick, is just crazy to me. I don't understand, all these people who clearly were not watching football before just because your favorite artist is now maybe dating a football player.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not, and you start watching, the
because
entire
of that.
game. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Go off.
Crazy.
But.
I think it's great.
And
that's my opinion.
Kelce
I'm sorry.
Buddy, he was on every commercial before, and the companies that got him to do commercials over the summer are, cashing in. He is... Every 2 minutes, there's a Kelce commercial.
My only problem is that the NFL is not the one that needs this.
No.
You know who does? The Arizona Coyotes.
Buddy, and how? So here is where we're going.
Taylor Swift needs to date a Coyote because could you imagine? Could you imagine her in a box at Motor?
Buddy, can you imagine her rolling into the ASU campus to watch the Arizona Coyotes?
Holy shit. Oh my God.
I mean, Michael Phelps has been there. We've had a bunch of celebrities.
Okay,
there.
but we need a global celebrity.
Taylor Swift. So Coyotes players,
but I know.
As our friend Michaela likes to say, shoot your shot. Pick up the phone, slide into some DMs, and I don't want to break up Taylor and Kelce yet because Swellsy. I don't like Swellsy. I don't like the word. It doesn't roll.
Swellsy.
But yeah. So her at Mullet. Can you imagine the fire? And she could roll into Scottsdale. It just fits. But if it doesn't fit,
who else? Who else? She's obviously dating or involved with Travis Kelce. So we thought,
we want to break it up.
Who? And we're not going to name players because I don't know actually who's all married or whatever.
Anybody in trouble at home? Good gosh.
If a major celebrity besides Taylor Swift were to date a Coyote and bring national attention, increase jersey sales, increase attendance, increase viewership. Listen, we're not beneath this.
Hell no.
Who are you having date a Coyote?
We need to, and you saw it in Nashville. Carrie Underwood and
Mike Fisher.
Yeah, and she'd go to the game, and it was a big deal.
It got a lot of the country music community. Yep, it does.
So we need a thing here.
All right, here's my first one. I know she's in a relationship right now, but that all rules are out the window.
All rules are off.
Zendaya.
Oh.
I think she's great. She's mid-20s. She's like my age. I think she's younger than me actually. She's like a she's a star. I don't know. She's awesome.
She is.
And people love her. She's awesome. She's on Euphoria, which is one of the like most popular shows. Zendaya. That's my
Zendaya. Would Tom Holland probably isn't all on board for that? But
no, but again, he's not watching.
He's not watching. He maybe is. I like
Who
the
do you
pick.
have?
Well, see, here's my problem, because that's a brilliant pick. My problem is I'm 50 something, and I didn't think like that because I don't have that. I know Craig had. Tell who Craig had.
So Craig said Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie. He would honestly say Margot Robbie literally for anything.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's Margot Robbie. Like
Did you know she's from Australia?
I don't know if Tara is concerned, but Craig's got a thing for Margot Robbie. Just throwing it out there, Tara. I know you're consuming our content today, but Craig has got a thing for Margot Robbie. I don't know if he's got a chance. I'd probably say no, but just in case.
Okay.
I'm going to go with somebody that gives a lot of Twitter, X, Insta, all of that has that kind of following.
Okay.
Every time she rolls in an arena, I'm going with any of them because I don't know the difference of them. The Kardashians, any or all of them, even the mom. Like, let's get a little December May thing going in, like Logan Cooley and the mom. You know, too soon. But no, but I bet they get clicks, right?
I mean, Kendall Jenner dated Devin Booker. She's already familiar with the Phoenix area.
Yes, and didn't isn't the one just divorced?
Kim?
Yeah. She's divorced.
I think
Is
she's
she
single.
dating?
No, but she
Tell me, she's got kids too, right?
Yeah. Get them in the Kachinas.
And Ye would be like, he'd be pissed. So he'd be standing up. Yay. Yeah. Get him there. Oh, buddy. Can you imagine? The stuff would be going off at the rink. So I'm all on Kardashians.
Laura would have her work cut out for her in the press box.
So if anybody, Sophie Turner, she's a free agent.
You guys are not thinking international enough.
So
Shakira.
Shakira
also came to mind. Yeah.
But
Shakira, those hips don't lie.
Also, literally any member of Blackpink, the K-pop group, because I don't know, like people
literally
talk,
we get all the Korean,
people
like all
talk
the
about all of like the Swifties. K-pop stands are on a different level. They're on a different level.
So what's the band?
Blackpink, right? Blackpink. I think
I don't know. Don't look at me for a question mark. I don't know.
Blackpink. Yeah, they're just like the biggest.
Yes, I like it. That's
K-pop.
international.
That's great
then.
thinking.
And then if you do that, guess where the Coyotes are going next year instead
Global
of Australia?
Series, Seoul, South
Korea. Let's go.
That actually kind of sounds like it would go crazy.
That does.
It does go crazy.
Olivia
Rodrigo
would be good.
Isn't Olivia Rodrigo like 19 years old?
I don't know some of these
like
people.
A kid? I don't know.
I did. This is not so. Trevor Zegras, I think, is dating one of the D'Amelio sisters, which you don't know who that is. They are extremely famous on TikTok.
TikTokers, yeah.
TikTok is also an interesting avenue to go
Olivia
down.
Rodrigo is 20, so
Okay,
that's okay.
If she, younger player, whatever. So those are our thoughts. Let us know.
Our chat. That's actually clever.
Let us know who you would want to see rolling up to mullet.
In the suites, do they have during the game in the suites, are the lights on or off?
On.
Oh, so I had Lauren Biebert, but she's out then. If the lights are off in the suite.
First of all, no, we're just going to move on.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on to Circle K. Let's just get right there.
Circle K are everywhere. Get your hands on some Circle K. Grab on and pull yourself a Polar Pop. At Circle K, because Circle Ks are everywhere. And you can become part of the inner circle of Circle K. It's absolutely free to get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 6 on your first... Our Max is not happy with the way this ad read is going. On your first 6 fill up 25 cents off a gallon at Circle K. And people know.
Join the inner circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com.
And the cups don't sweat. And they fit in your cup holder.
They do.
Polar Pop. Circle K.
Oh boy.
PHNX is wherever it's happening. You want to know what's breaking news? Follow Craig S. Morgan. Craig is not here today because he's at ASU. Tomorrow he's going to be at the Ice Den. Anything PHNX related and PHNX news is going to be here So make sure everybody that follows hockey follows us. But if you don't follow hockey and you follow Suns, Diamondbacks, ASU, U of A, I see the Rising guys are sitting there waiting to go. Diamondbacks playoffs.
Tis the season.
PHNX.
Tis the season.
If you don't know about it, how do you not know about that if you follow sports in Arizona?
If you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, do so. You can go on the website, gophnx.com. You can select which teams you want to get the newsletter. The newsletter comes directly into your email inbox. It's just once a week for your favorite team. So Coyotes, Craig has one every Monday, and they're great. They're kind of like bite-sized stories. Sometimes they're fun. The fantasy football one with the Coyotes was amazing. You can, so if you're like, just say a Coyotes and ASU fan only, you can sign up to get those newsletters only, or you can do all of them as I did.
Yes.
So check out the weekly newsletters. They're amazing. Our writers put in such good work here. They have diehard only content on the website as well. So lots of great perks to becoming a diehard, getting a free shirt when you sign up. I saw someone earlier said they got the Four Peaks Howling Head shirt when they renewed. Awesome.
Keep your eyes open.
The wagon shirt is freaking money. If you're a diehard, you can get this for 20% off right now at phnxlocker.com. Mine is, like I said, it's on the way. I can't wait to get it.
Even that other Diamondback shirt, I don't know the names of the shirts. The ones right before this with the bat, the black one with the new release we had right at the end of the season, that was fire. I got that one right away.
Yeah. Just check out phnxlocker.com if you're diehard, 20% off.
There might be a hockey one coming soon.
There may be 20% off events as well. And hang out with us at all PHNX Cardinals away game watch parties at the BetMGM Sportsbook at State Farm Stadium. Get ticket raffles, prize giveaways, and more. The link is in our show notes for that. So again, 'tis the season. It's the best time of year.
And I'm going to pandering again. If you have friends that are into sports and your neighbors, they know sports, right? Not everybody. There are a few people that don't follow sports, but most people follow sports. Tell them we're here.
Yep.
Just tell them.
Yep, absolutely. So, anywho, great time to become a diehard if I do say so myself. We have a lot of great stuff planned.
Buddy, we have stuff coming up this week.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're doing our show live at the Ice Den in Scottsdale.
Yes.
So if you're off
I don't know
work,
who's going to come on though, because they're actually on the ice during that time.
We'll figure it out.
Well, we'll get some people on there.
We'll be at the Ice Den. Saturday, we're going to be in Tucson. Illegal Pete's meetup, the Tucson Illegal Pete's. Although if you're
University.
Yeah, so University in Tucson, Illegal Pete's, 1:00. We're meeting for a pregame meetup, lunch, margaritas, Four Peaks, whatever.
Maybe have a beer, we'll see.
Join us. Let us know if you're coming to that. That's going to be a blast. And then we're going to do a post-game show in Tucson for that game. And if you haven't bought your tickets yet, you can buy them right now at a discounted price thanks to our friends at the Roadrunners. You can find that link pinned in our Discord channel, and it's also on our Twitter page at PHNX_Coyotes. I tweeted the link as well. So get up to 30% off on those tickets.
And go to the game.
Buddy,
you're going to see the NHL roster.
It's the NHL roster.
It's the NHL roster.
Yeah. So it's
going
to
be 26 guys left in camp. So you're going to see them.
Yep. Absolutely. I see all the diehards
Trevor
in the
Zegras
chat.
and Troy Terry. And
we love Trevor Zegras.
We do love Trevor Zegras.
Anywho.
That was sarcasm.
Anywho, be sure to subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel so you never miss when we go live. And because there's so much more content on our YouTube channel besides just our live shows, you never know what we're getting up to. You never know what Petey's getting up to. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
And
that's true.
Yeah, just a lot of great perks. And if you're not following PHNX Sports on other social media platforms, Instagram, we have a Pinterest page. If you're a Pinterest person, we're on Pinterest, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Check it out. You can follow all of us on Twitter at Craig S. Morgan, at S. Peters Hockey, at Leah Merrill, at Sean_DePaz. Follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes. Share it with your friends. This is an exciting season for Coyotes hockey. We'll be back live tomorrow at 11 a.m. from the Ice Den. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody, and we will see you all tomorrow.